All right, guys. Spencer Harp here with Sharp Engineering. Several people have contacted me about the seat lid, and several people have said that hey, it's not in the rule book or whatever. But I didn't feel like I had to put that in the rule book. And at the end of the day, if any safety official, whether it be internal or external, track official or whatever, identifies something on our cars that is a concern and addresses it uniformly with every driver, it shouldn't be questioned. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. We go back and look a few years ago, guys were using 5-pound pucks, mounting them here and there. I really wasn't that concerned about it because my son's go-karts got lead bolted to that seat. But unlike a go-kart, these seats are designed to contain you and keep you in. And in a go-kart, you really don't want to be contained. So, there's really no comparison between a go-kart seat and a, full containment head restraint. Again, I'm kind of getting tired of talking about it. Everybody's called me independently. As much as everybody talks, I figured you would have passed the message along, amongst yourself, what my stance was on it. At the end of the day, Chris has been hired to do a job, and I'm asking myself 3 questions anytime anybody has anything negative to say about Chris. Is Chris showing up to the racetrack to do tech? Yes. Is he doing a thorough job in tech? Yes. Can we improve that? Are we going to improve that? Yes. Is he going to carry parts to the racetrack and sell them at the racetrack? Yes. And with that, I mean, there is no exclusivity. With the Sharp Mini late models, I don't require everyone to buy your parts from me. I don't require, half of you buying from Camac, Racing Supply, Hyper Racing, Triple X. It doesn't matter. Speedway Motors, so there's no exclusivity toward any distributor or authorized parts, distributor in the area. People are going to buy parts from who they want to buy parts from. They're going to buy parts based on customer relationships and having the parts available. So, if you're good at business and you've got a good personality and you've got what the customer needs, then you'll get the sale. There's a bunch of moving parts with what we're doing here. We're looking at putting authorized assemblers out. Guys that have cars like Blake George at Club 12 Motorsports. He puts together a really nice piece. Emerson and them put together a really nice piece. We're trying to cater toward the South Carolina. So we're talking with Michael Green about assembling some cars over in the South Carolina area. And trying to branch out. Dustin Snyder and them, we're looking at, South Georgia, North Florida, trying to assemble cars for down that way. So right now our goal is to increase the car count, as much as we can, really as fast as we can. And the fact of it is I can't do it alone. So we're going to have people that have parts, purely because of the way we order. We have to order 40 fuel cells at a time. It ties up a lot of capital. But if everybody's putting together 1 or 2 cars, to go out and race and add to the car count, then we can move that product fairly quickly. We can grow fairly quickly. And it's a win-win for everyone. I mean, it's more local racing, bigger series races, bigger purses, more opportunities for marketing and advertising. Some of you may not be aware, but I mean, I have officially resigned from my position at Georgia Southern University. I'm focusing on motorsports 100%. Big car, small car, go-karts, you name it, we're working on it. So, I mean, I had planned to make a, slightly more, official, announcement on a lot of the moving pieces, but this weight thing, has kind of got me in front of a camera, so I figured I'd key you in, on what our goals are. Our goals are not to sustain or maintain where we are right now. I'm looking for growth. We're in a much larger facility now. Our efficiencies are up. We're adding capacity. We're, starting to do more and more. In-house. There's some roadblocks along the way. I wouldn't really call them roadblocks. I'd call them speed bumps that we're going to be working around. But, every driver calling me 15 times about the same issue, and that's an exaggeration. I've been called like 5 or 6 times. But that's 5 or 6 times too many. Bottom line is, Chris is being paid by me. Like, you guys aren't paying a tech fee at these series races. You guys are not paying a fee to process the samples. The sample processing and Chris's fuel and time, is coming out of my pocket. So I'm paying him to do a job when I can't be there. It's a very busy season this year for my son. He's riding with the team. It's a very busy season for the mini late models. We didn't get a lot of opportunity to coordinate our schedules. So I'm going to be at some races, and unfortunately I haven't been able to make many right here at the beginning of the season. So I'm going to slide in, especially, if it starts getting, real tense in tech. I'm going to come in and do some of my own stuff and make sure that there's no, preferential treatment or anything like that happening. I mean, Chris does not have a car. Chris can, I'm assuming that being a race car builder himself, at some point he's going to want to put together cars for other people. And that's fine. I mean, we're on a spec shock, spec tire, and seal motor. So if there's a problem with, anyone assembling cars, be it a driver or a hated driver, we should have a problem with all of it. So either, we're going to ask ourselves, do we want to grow? Do we want to be successful as an organization? Or do we want to continue to, just run our faces in the ground, bickering about stuff that doesn't matter? The deal with the lead, back to the original point of this conversation, the deal with the lead is there's not a seat manufacturer on the planet that will endorse bolting lead to a full containment portion of the seat up high. The seats at best are made out of 3/16 aluminum. The material will fatigue with the vibrations. You've seen it on other parts of the chassis. And if you go back and do some math, which I kind of wasted a little bit of my time doing, you look at the forces, going from your head weight of 13 to 16 pounds, it's going to generate 4,000 newtons of force at a 70 mile an hour impact. You take and you add 30 pounds to that, now it's 15,000 newtons of force. So it's over 3 times the amount of force just by adding the 30 pounds to the head restraint at 70 miles an hour. We're exceeding 70 miles an hour. So in a perfect world, everything has a design factor of safety. So I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that Kirky designed the seats with a factor of safety of 3 or better for all the safety elements of that seat. Well, guess what? Right off the rip, we're exceeding that with just by bolting 30 pounds on it at 70 miles an hour. So anyway, I mean, it really this shouldn't even be a discussion. I'm done discussing it. If my tech man identifies a safety concern on anybody's car, or if he does it every week and it improves the class, I'm behind him 100%. All we're wanting to do is get better, get safer for our participants, because at the end of the day, you guys won't be the problem. It'll be your insurance companies or your relatives or whoever else when something goes wrong. They're going to try to blame somebody. They're going to come after the series. They're going to come after us. They're going to come after whoever. And we just don't have time for that. We're trying to grow. We're trying to do better. We're working harder. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that you guys, have no idea about, what we're having to do to, to kind of keep this thing on the positive and keep it going. So, I mean, I would really appreciate, some understanding and leniency and look at the big picture of what's going on, and get rid of the BS and back and forth. As far as Chris is concerned, Chris is my tech man. He's hired to do so, and until he makes a mistake, that warrants, any kind of corrective action, I'm going to let him do his job, and I'm going to back him 100%. And so at the racetrack, he has a procedure to follow. He's getting used to it. His first race was this past weekend, and I don't think we welcomed him, and really appreciated the fact that he's going out of his way to be there, for us. I mean, I'm literally just covering his fuel. The series is, most of the time is negotiating with the racetrack to get some pit passes in there so 2 people can get in with the tech guy. It's not a get rich deal. The only way that he's going to survive in this business is, to gain you guys, gain your trust and have what you need at the racetrack if you need it there in case of parts. It's, I don't know. I'm kind of beside myself. We want one thing, and then as soon as we start to try to put those systems in place or those people in place, we're not perfect. We're all imperfect humans. We're all sinners. And, I think we need to accept that as a reality. And let's just go out and have fun. I don't need 15 phone calls over something that, you can call the seat manufacturer and ask them what their opinion is on it. I mean, I just don't need it, don't have time for it. We don't have time for it. You don't have time for it. Or you may, but I don't. So if there's a problem, let me know. I'll be glad to discuss it with you. But let's just communicate together too. I mean, I'm not saying don't approach me if you think there's an issue, but something like this should not have taken this much discussion. It is now Wednesday and we're still talking about it. So I'm done with it. No seat, no lead mounted to the seat, period. And if you force me to write a rule in a rule book, I'll put no lead above the deck. Either way, I'm fine with it. I don't like lead anyway. Lead's, is dangerous. It turns into projectiles. I understand why you're doing it. But y'all, be mindful, use the appropriate size bolt for the poundage that you're putting on the car. WK has rules. Make sure there's 2 threads showing on every bolt, double nutted. You Loctite the threaded rod into the weight clamp if you're using weight clamps. Don't just unbox a weight clamp, bolt it on your car and expect it to work. Use some Loctite so the bolts don't vibrate loose. That's what I don't like about weight clamps. There's no like positive lock on weight clamps. So, there's a right way to do it. Use a weight clamp, either safety wire the bolts to where they can't rotate, double nut it, use some sort of adhesive based retainer. There's a lot of things you can do to better that situation, because the last thing you want is a 30-pound chunk of lead coming through your window bars. I'm sure there's some Google images out there that can indicate what that looks like on the back end. So let's get it figured out. Let's move on, and stay tuned for what's to come. I'm going to need everybody's participation if we plan to grow and do it. What I would like to do with the class. Everybody needs to contribute. So I may be calling on several of you in the future to see if you guys want to help assemble a few cars here and there. I don't have the capital to lay out to build 150 cars in one go, but if we divide and conquer, we can do great things. So keep me posted, stay in touch, and just understand where I'm at, and just be mindful, and let's be constructive. Let's figure out some ways to improve the class, get better. Not everybody's opinion is going to be I guess acted upon, but if there's something we can do that you feel we're not doing, communicate it. I won't bite your head off, but like I said, we're all looking at it from different angles. So I appreciate your time to watch the video, and I look forward to the future. Thanks, guys.